primary. And the same thing in Iowa. She was really fighting. She spent far more money than I spent. She's got all these characters giving her a lot of money just in the hope.
You made a comment recently that you'd be a dictator for day one, and you said that you would close the border and drill, drill, drill. What specifically did you mean by that?
Well, I think it was with Sean Hannity, and we were having fun, and I said, I'm going to be a dictator, because he asked me, are you really going to be a dictator? I said, absolutely, I'm going to be a dictator for one day. I didn't say from day one.
Did you mean executive orders? What did that mean?
No.
Is what I'm saying.
It said very simple. I'm going to close the border and we're going to drill, baby, drill. That's all. And then after that, I'm not going to be a dictator. Now, that was said in jest. And most people, I'm surprised you asked that question, but most people say it was said, if you run it along, you'd say, and after that, what I'm saying is that we're going to immediately drill, baby, drill. We're going to get energy down. And the other thing is we're going to have a strong border. We're going to close up the border, because no country is sustainable. When you look at what's happening to our country with people from jails and prisons, people from mental institutions and insane asylums coming in, our country is being destroyed.
Well, I mean, Mr. President, the reason that I asked the question is because your critics say that that's the worry, that it's the end of democracy, it's a dictator. And I wanted you to explain what it meant. In other words, does it mean executive orders? Are you planning to use more executive orders this time than last time? Would you use an executive order to close the border?
There's nothing wrong with executive orders. Biden's using them all the time.
Right.
I mean, to me, Biden is bad for democracy because he's incompetent. And frankly, you take a look at what's happening to our country. Our country is being destroyed before our very eyes. Of course, I'm not going to be doing that. I will say this. 4 years, we had no wars. We defeated ISIS. I knocked out the biggest terrorists in the world. We had the best economy ever. I cut taxes. I cut regulations at a level. I had the biggest tax cut ever. I had the biggest regulation cut ever. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We never did better. We never did better. And all of the people that say, oh, never Trump, they don't even know why they're saying it. We did a job that very few people have ever done. In fact, we're getting credit for it. We rebuilt the military. We created Space Force, which is now turning out to be very essential. I said it's going to end up being maybe our most important force because it's all going out to space now, if you look. And we are now leading Russia and China. We were way behind when I came. We had no Space Force. People thought it was a joke when I created it. Now they're saying, wow, what a great job you did.
I want to go back to immigration. Walk us through your plan for immigration, because is it as easy as going back to the security that you had in place, like the Remain in Mexico and all these other things that Joe Biden overturned? There are 8 to 10 million illegals in the country right now on Joe Biden's watch. So what do you do with them? Are you going to deport them all? What's the plan?
Well, you're going to have to deport a lot of them. It's not sustainable. And now you look, these countries are very smart. I know every one of the leaders of the countries for the most part. The presidents, the dictators, I know them all. I know the kings, the queens, I know them all. These are smart people. These are streetwise people. It makes sense that they're taking people out and sending them up in caravans to the United States. And it's not just South America. It's from Africa, from Asia, from all over the world.
Asia.
Yeah. I mean, from all over the world. From China, there are 28,000 people in the last few months. 28,000. That's what's he doing? Building an army? And they were mostly men, almost all men, from the age of 18 to 25. So what's that all about?
But are you talking about mass deportation? What do you do with the 8 to 10 million people already here?
Okay, Dwight Eisenhower, believe it or not, you don't think of him as being a tough president or a great president. He was actually a very good president. He was very strong on deportation because a lot of people were coming into our country illegally. And he started a big mass deportation. He dropped them very close to the border, and they came back. Then he dropped them 2,000 miles away, and they didn't come back. We cannot allow scenes like I saw in New York 2 days ago, where policemen are being beat up by gangs of illegal immigrants, in that case from Venezuela, Honduras. We can't allow that. And these are kids that are fighters. They were not, babies. They were knocking the hell out of our policemen. We can't let this happen. These are tough people. So the heads of these countries are smart. They're not sending the people that are doing a great job and that they love in the country. They're sending people, for the most part, that they don't want. And they're putting them into caravans. I know that because they tried it with me, but I turned back the caravans. Look, I had the safest border in the history of our country. I built 561 miles of wall, and that was good. But I also got Mexico to give us 28,000 soldiers free of charge. Now, I told them that we were not going to be happy if you don't do it. We're going to put tariffs on your cars and everything else that you sell us, which is a lot, if you don't do it. And they did it. They gave us 28,000 soldiers, and we had the best border we ever had. To this day, I had the best border we've ever had. Now we have the worst border probably in the history of the world.
I understand. I'm told that the Chinese are